What is up, YouTube? Today I want to talk about Bakhmut once again. It is a very hot topic. Now, without wasting your precious time, I will go straight into explaining what I have to say. So, a Russian attack at Blagodatne is not developing as good as Russians probably want it to. Overall, nothing interesting had happened over this front. Russia is still unable to encircle Krasnaya Hora and Praskovivka and cut off this road right here. Again, this road supplies the whatever front that goes along this battle line and these two villages. At Bakhmut itself, Russia is still trying to push Ukrainians out. They are entered outskirts of Bakhmut and slowly capturing street by street. I'm sure that these battles are very bloody for Russians as they attack a heavily fortified Bakhmut. Now, some military bloggers on YouTube have stated that the Bakhmut is nearly destroyed and almost unusable. I can partially agree with that statement. Probably there are no gas, electricity, and running water in the city, but from this photo you can see that buildings are still intact and can be used for defense. So Bakhmut, as long as it's not encircled, will not fall. And that's the trick, however, because encirclement is what's actually important and what's going to happen to Bakhmut in the near future. Again, I predict in about a week or so Bakhmut will be left, or a decisive battle would be fought to stop Russian encirclement. Now, Russia continued their advance from Kilichivka towards Chasiv Yar. I wouldn't call their attack a success. It's very slow. I'm sure Russians are losing a lot of troops fighting in these little forests. Their main objective is to cut off this road right here, maybe even storm Chasiv Yar itself. Although I believe that at first they will continue going along this little river right here, cut off this secondary road, and most importantly, cut off this railroad that goes straight to Bakhmut. Very important. I believe that at least 50% of supplies and troops that are going to Bakhmut are going through this railroad right here because it's simply more efficient. The road T0504 connecting Konstantinovka and Bakhmut through Ivanovsky is now within the range of Russian artillery and thus no longer passable. Just now, Russians came into the range of bombarding this road, thus cutting off supply. I believe that Russian artillery may be stationed somewhere along this forest line or even closer this forest line, although I believe it's extremely dangerous. Again, it's not the end of the world. Although this road is important, it's not the only one. There's a little secondary one and a railroad. So as long as those two stand, everything's gonna be fine, I'm sure. Now I wanna quickly touch good news. Now that Germany sent their Leopard tanks to Ukraine, they need to quickly replace the sent one with the new ones. Germany had sent pretty old and outdated tanks, like Leopard A4 and Leopard A6. And now they will replace it with the newer models like Leopard A7s. We all heard news that NATO tanks and tank brigades are outdated and not as combat effective as they need to. And thanks to this, now they will receive much newer tanks, thus making their combat ability much higher. Russia continues little advancements near Novobakhmutovka, but those are slow and not as effective. Now, I want to talk about Mariinka. The city of Mariinka is a big topic for a lot of Russian and pro-Russian bloggers, because one of the Russian generals had promised to free Mariinka from Ukraine for at least 3 months. As we can see, Mariinka is still partially in Ukrainian control. Russian forces and DNR and LPR forces are still unable to push Ukrainian out of Donetsk. The push on Valekhdar had also stopped. As I said in a previous video, Valekhdar is extremely difficult micro-city to capture because it is in the open fields, right? If we go to satellites, it's in the middle of an open field and it's a bit of on the high ground, so it overlooks all the Russian positions. This little city is full of high buildings made of concrete, greatly used as defense. So I would assume Russia will stall at this advance. And the only way to win and capture the city is again to go around. This is all I can say about current situation in Ukraine. We can see that slowly but surely Russia is pushing Ukraine. That means Ukraine needs more. Ukraine needs more tanks, especially Ukraine needs more planes like F-16s. Especially because tanks are nothing without air support. So I hope that Ukrainians will receive those F-16s and more tanks because Ukraine is slowly but surely loses the war. And a lot of YouTube bloggers saying that Russia is against time. Again, I have to disagree. Russia is not. Russia slowly but surely mobilizes its troops, its economy, its production. In 3-4 months' time, Russia will be able to mass a huge army. So that's it for today. Thank you all for tuning in and viewing me. If you like my content, please subscribe, like, comment. I would love to talk to you in the comment section. And always remember, Russia will be free.